Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today we're going to talk about a couple big names that got moved to different teams. Free agencies right around the corner. The offseason's in full swing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Are you ready for this offseason, Lance? I know I am because Minnesota has a lot to do, and it's probably going to be more of a quiet offseason for us, more of a let's get our books in place, but it's still exciting. It's still exciting.
I mean, you know me, Andrew. I love free agency. It's the best. It's the
Hmm.
best part of the season to me. The draft is good,
Kind
but
of
free
is.
agency is
Yeah.
the trades
Yeah.
that happen.
Outside watching the games is awesome. But outside of that, it's like, ooh, all this offseason speculation and transactional stuff it's the best.
It's kind of funny because it really all it's about is like, rearranging and positioning your cannons, right, and your artillery. This is
Hmm.
all it's about. But yet here we are, grown men, absolutely fascinated by it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. So which trade do you want to start with? Do you want to start with DJ Moore or do you want to start with Trent McDuffie?
Let's start with DJ Moore. Um,
Okay.
I know we kind of talked about this before, but man, what a dud of an announcement by Adam Schefter on the value of the trade.
Yeah, for
I
a
hope
mid-round pick.
I hope he wore a little egg on his face from other reporters after that,
Hmm.
because that's a pretty embarrassing summary. That's
Oh,
not
he
what happened.
probably told his source, "Do not call me again."
Just leave it as the fact that the trade happened. I mean,
Hmm.
I know what people will say. A second for a fifth probably works out to a, is that a third?
I think it's like a low third is what like the math actually comes out to. Like the between pick 90 and 95 in that range. So like a really low third or a high fourth is what it averages out to, I think.
I don't know. To me, I don't feel like that's mid round. I think that
Yeah,
that's
yeah, I agree. And if you're getting back a second round pick, even if you're giving up something, you're getting back really good value. So it's not a mid round type thing unless you gave up a third, then that's a different story.
Well, I think another thing too that's important to clarify is the compensation picks don't start till the third round. So it's a true second
Hmm.
round pick.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
the 31st second round pick, but it's a second round pick.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it's maybe we should dig into thoughts yet, but Andrew, but I think this is a great trade by Chicago. Um, I mean, if I remember right, the Bills take on $40 million of
Hmm.
the guaranteed money. So that's a huge win for the Chicago Bears to get that money off their books. You
Hmm.
get a second round pick back. Um, to me, it kind of felt like DJ Moore, it wasn't working. Um,
Yeah.
I know that there's that play that people talk about from the Green Bay Packers game that gets highlighted a lot of looking like he gave up, but that wasn't the first time that happened. There's been other issues in the past where it just felt
Hmm.
like unless the ball's coming to him, he's not giving full effort. It's a problem. You can't have that um, if you expect to win. Your receivers have to be locked
Yeah.
in all the time.
Yeah. 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 My thoughts on both sides of it. I sort of like it for the Bills. I don't love it, but I sort of like it because they needed something. It's a little pricey. I would have thought it might have been a little bit cheaper to get that because how much the Bears were out on DJ Moore. But like I said, I kind of get it on their end because their best receiver is Khalil Shakir, and he's not a one. DJ Moore can still be a one. I don't know if he's like a solid one, but he can be a sort of a one for your team. And like you said, if he's the focus of the offense, he will be engaged. But there in Chicago, that wasn't the case because they got a lot of young guys there. And they're trying to get them developed. And Caleb Williams doesn't really stick to like the plan per se. He
It's
he
true. He's an unscripted
improvises.
passer.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you're not gonna get the ball when that happens.
Hmm.
Sometimes he gets it down the other side of the field, and you're just sitting there thinking, "Well, I was wide open a second ago." It's probably kind of where DJ Moore was at, and it really showed whenever Ben Johnson came to where DJ Moore wasn't really the guy anymore. It was Adunze, it was Loveland, and like you said, the Bears are getting that second round pick back, which is really big, especially since they're losing players right now. Drew Dahlman retired, and they cut one of their best linebackers, Edmonds, and he had like 112 tackles last year. He was their best tackler. And they did for cap reasons, which makes sense. I'm not saying it was a mistake, but that second round pick's going to help because they're losing guys and they need some help. The one thing I think is a little under the radar is now I think the Bears receiving core is kind of misjointed and not the best. Roma is good, but I don't know if he's ready to be the true bona fide one. He might be, but I'm not sure. But outside of that, what do they got as receivers? Because Luther Burden, he didn't really show much last year. Now you could say he was the third, so DJ Moore was taking a spot, and maybe now that he has opportunity to get on the field more, maybe he'll show something. It's possible. But when he was on the field, I just didn't see it. They got two great tight ends, so they might just go heavy more, which is possible. They like to run the ball with their two really good backs. That does hurt their receivers. Now they could draft one. Maybe that's the idea. But overall, I would say probably the Bears slightly won because I'm not in love with the receiving core now. And I do kind of understand why the Bills did it because they needed a receiver. But getting back a second round pick is pretty big. I think even though like you said, it's like a very late second, it's still a second round pick. You can get a starter with that pick if you draft well. And the Bears have shown they've been drafting pretty well of late. Most of their guys they've been snagging, leaving like Monogany, I think they drafted like the fourth or fifth round last year. He looked pretty good when he got the ball. So giving credit to their scouting department and their draft team because their pick's been pretty good. So they're probably going to get something good with that second round pick unless they try to move up, which is
And it's
possible
actually
too.
it's better than I was thinking. I don't know why I was thinking 31st pick in my head. It's the 52nd pick. So that's not bad. If you could get close to the top 50,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
hmm Yeah. So, yep. Um, Overall, I think the Bears slightly won that trade. I don't think the Bills, quote unquote, lost it because I do understand you need to get a one on your team, but that was kind of pricey. I would have thought trade a three, trade a third round pick. I would have been more okay with just a third round pick straight up, not getting a fifth back, but not giving up your second. Your second round pick's really valuable. So I think they kind of gave up a little bit too much, but I get where they're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's all fair. I just think to me going into the offseason, it was apparent that DJ Moore wasn't coming back. That was the vibe
Right.
I got.
Right.
And
Which is why the cost was strange. If you knew that they
right.
were wanting to get rid of him, why send that much? Send a
And
three. Call it good.
and that's the part that I don't understand in this equation is the
hmm
negotiations should have been to Buffalo's favor, not to Chicago's. But that doesn't
hmm
seem to me how it played out. Well, I mean, like for example, you're giving up a second round pick. Why are you taking on the $40 million? What's going
hmm
on here? Like that's not. This didn't feel like a GM wise move. This felt like
hmm
I'm desperate. I've made mistakes. I have got to make up for those mistakes, which to me is hilarious because they just made this guy the president. Like, and this was the person that was responsible
hmm
for the lackluster wide receiver room. And so I'll say this. I think the DJ Moore move has the potential to be good, but they need to get someone else. This is an incomplete
Yes,
move.
I can agree with that. They need a 1B to his 1A kind of thing. I
Right.
agree with that.
It can't be Khalil Shakir. If that's the answer, then I'd
hmm
say that this is not like I think it's the difference is it's not AJ Brown, right? If it's AJ Brown and Khalil Shakir, I think you could make that work. I
hmm
think that there's enough firepower there that it's like I think we can do this and maybe a third to fourth round wide receiver, and I think we're okay. Whereas now I still feel like you still got to go wide receiver in the first round. I mean, to me, I think it's that
And
big of
now
an
they don't have
issue.
a second round pick. So they have a first round, then a third round pick.
Yeah, it's not a bad move. It's just it
Yeah.
might be a too little too or too little too late move to me. Like if you were
hmm
really gonna do this, make a trade for wide receiver, I think like oh man, we've talked about him in this offseason, the Chargers wide receiver. Um that's kind of underperformed. but then had a really good year last
Oh,
year.
Johnston.
Yeah, Quentin Johnston. To me, I would have rather give up a fourth round pick and go get Johnston and then save your picks that are more premium for players that, like,
Hmm.
why do I say that? Well, Johnston is not re-signed to a new deal yet. It's probably a good time to re-sign him. He wouldn't get DJ more money.
Hmm.
I think that there's more potential for Johnston to grow into his role. Um, but that's me. That's what I would have done. Um,
Hmm.
I just think you either gotta go in for it, like, because has DJ Moore even gone to a Pro Bowl? I don't think so, right? He's had a couple of wider of 1,000 yard
I think
receiver
so.
years.
When he was with Carolina, I think he probably did because he was a pretty much a stud back in Carolina days because that's all they had on offense. Um, so I think he probably did back in on the Panthers. No?
No, no Pro Bowl appearances. Which, I mean, it's not the bar, but it's
Yeah,
a
that's all
bar.
voted anyway. It's if he's on like an all-pro team of any kind is really what matters.
And there's no All-Pro recognitions.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. Yeah, I just think the part that's tough is 3 out of the past 4 years, he hasn't been able to get over 1,000 yards.
Hmm.
And so that's the part that just gives me pauses. What does this future look like for this player? Is he going to turn it up another level and turn
Hmm.
into the player that they're looking for? I mean, Quentin Johnston, for example, he's only 3 years in. He had 700 yards the past 2 years, 8 touchdowns the past 2 years. I just think that's a lot of solid play. I don't know. I think he could have been had from the Chargers. So that's the part I'm just questioning in my head is for the
Hmm.
price you gave up, was it worth
Right.
it? And I don't know. Like if it was a fourth and a seventh for Quentin, I think I'd still go Quentin.
Yeah, it might
Um,
not even be that expensive.
I don't know. I just tough. It's tough to say. We'll see. Maybe we get to
Yeah.
the end of the season and I look like an idiot for questioning the move. I mean, he's paired with Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I just
Hmm.
I think it'd be a mistake for Buffalo fans to think, oh, this is the TO type move.
Or like the Stephon Diggs move a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Great example.
Yeah.
But it is weird to me. One other note I would say on that, you brought up Stephon Diggs. It's weird that you would trade for a guy that has character issues just like Stephon Diggs did. Like I thought,
Yeah.
I thought you learned your lesson the first time. To me,
Hmm.
that seems, what am I missing? I don't know.
It's the
I'll
same GM.
I'll never forget that moment though. It happened a couple years ago where DJ Moore just inexplicably walked off the field.
Hmm.
And it just looked bad. I didn't know there was an explanation he was hurt, but it looked like I quit. I'm done.
Yep.
I and it's like it doesn't matter what excuse you throw out. If the optics look bad, there's probably something else there. And then, with the way things ended this last year, it kind of just reinforces this idea. Maybe there's something here. Maybe there's
Hmm.
something underlying that's really needing to be concerned about. Here's the part I say was different though about, AJ Brown and with DJ Moore though is people might say, well, Lance, you're saying they should have traded for AJ Brown, like logically that would have been a better move if they were going to go all in. I'd say that's true. And the reason why is because the fact that one of the big reasons why AJ Brown's been upset is the offense for the Eagles has been so bad. Like
Hmm.
he's been justified in being upset about that. I don't think DJ Moore has any reason to be upset with Ben Johnson. That offense has been amazing. I don't know, maybe you see it differently.
Not really, because really the only time within the past handful of years that we've heard AJ Brown and being really upset was just this past year because um, even when he got the ball, the offense was not running very well. Like it was ironic because the games that he had his best days, I think the Eagles lost, um, which goes to show that just forcing him the ball wasn't working, and so he was still upset because they're still losing. So I would say that's fair. It'll also depend on the compensation because I know that Roseman isn't going to just give him away. If you're saying it's going to take the Bills' first round pick to get AJ Brown, which is probably fair-ish, I still don't know if I would have done that. Um, if it was a first round pick for AJ Brown or a value of a third round pick ish for DJ Moore, that's a toss up because it's like I still keep my first round pick maybe I still can draft a stud receiver. You're not really going to get a stud receiver in the third round, usually. So that would be a toss up. I'd have to look at the contract. I know that AJ Brown's contract, I think, is higher than DJ Moore's. So that would factor, but it's close. Between those two values, it's pretty close. AJ Brown's, of course, the better receiver. He's a top 10 receiver. But still, giving a first round pick is not easy to do if you're wanting to have a future, unless you're going all in like the Rams, which we can get to soon. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I mean, I think that those are all fair. I don't know. I still feel like the difference between AJ Brown and DJ Moore is significant. Like, I think
It
it's,
is. It is. But is it a first round pick compared to a third round pick?
I would say, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I just think that here's the question I would say is that when the lights have shined the brightest in both of their careers, who's
Hmm.
balled out? I'd say AJ Brown has balled out. You know, two Super Bowls, two pretty good performances, NFC championships, fairly similar.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think we've seen that with DJ Moore. Like I'd love to go back and maybe we can just type it in real quick. But what were his numbers from the Bears Packers game? Um, I don't recall a ton of really big moments by DJ
I'm
Moore,
not
and
sure. Yeah,
maybe
I'm
that's
not
not
sure.
fair on my part. Yeah, I mean DJ Moore did have a touchdown, but I felt like that was the because I remember in my head it was the Colston Loveland game with Caleb Williams just finding ways to continue to get the ball down the field. But I
Hmm.
mean, he did get 64 yards. He did get a touchdown. So like we got to give him credit for that. And a Dunze burden that does leave a big question mark. Are they going to be able to pick up the slack?
Hmm.
Here's the thing: is that the way I operate is if you don't know, you know, And if the Bears were like, I just
Hmm.
don't know if this guy's really the starter. I don't know if this is someone we can really depend on.
Right.
Then you move on from them. You know,
Hmm.
this you get
And you
out
got
of
to get
the
your young guys in there. So,
exactly, and
yeah.
you get the guaranteed money out of the way, and you get a draft pick back. And like to me, if I'm the Bears, again, Quentin Johnston, Chargers, what do you want for him? Are you really
Hmm.
planning on re-signing him? Are you not? Okay, well then let's talk draft picks. Let's see if we can find a compensation
Hmm.
number that makes sense. And to me, if I'm the Bears, I still went out in that game. If I pick up Johnston and I gave up Adunze, got out of that contract, which wasn't good, the locker room issues.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And so just wanted to bring that up because of the AJ Brown conversation. I do think this reinforces the Eagles' belief we're getting a first plus for AJ Brown with the fact that Adunze went for a second. That's
You mean
kind of what
more?
I'm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. That's a hefty price tag for AJ Brown, but if someone's willing to pay it, someone's desperate.
I mean, I think it's a good outlook for the Eagles. I mean, we'll see, right? Anything could happen, but I just
Hmm.
think you just saw the DJ Moore trade play out. And that's what the market is recently. The hard part is, you can't typically look a year ago, right? You can't look at George Pickens and say, hey, the George Pickens went for a third. Um,
Hmm.
so,
DK Metcalf went for a second.
but I would say, is DK Metcalf better than AJ Brown? I don't think so. I think DK Metcalf's mental mistakes make him a
Yeah, he should be better than AJ Brown because his physical tools are insane. But yeah, he is not because of all that stuff.
yeah, his mental
Yeah.
acuity is just weak.
Only thing difference is he still is young and AJ Brown starting to creep up there in age. He's not there
Yeah,
yet, but it's
for
it's
sure.
it's it's like it's not in the too far distance. Like, now it's question kind of thing.
Well, I think right now, my guess is either AJ's in New England or he stays in Philly.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that those
for
are the two,
sure.
unless Las Vegas comes in and just makes a crazy stupid offer, which I think could happen. I
Hmm.
could see Las Vegas entering it, depending on how things shape up free agency wise and how they're feeling with Mendoza. I mean,
Hmm.
he needs a bona fide number one receiver, and they don't have that in Las Vegas right now.
Yeah, that's true. And they have a ton of cap space and they have a good amount of draft capital, so
Yep.
they
All right.
could make something crazy happen.
I am done on this subject, Andrew. Sorry to beat the dead horse.
No, you're good. You're good. Should we go to a team that went full Rams because they are the Rams?
I was thinking this kind of feels like a Jalen Ramsey-esque trade to me.
Very, very close. I think the only difference is the Rams still have a first round pick now
It's true.
because of that trade with the Falcons. So they've been setting this up for 2 years. So just broad overview, I think both teams won in this trade. I think it's good on both sides. The Chiefs, they get a ton of draft ammunition. Now they have two first round picks this year. I think they got a third and a fifth this year, and then a third next year. That third next year, I think, is another big piece because next year's draft is supposed to be extremely deep with a ton of talent, a lot better than this year's draft. So them getting a third round pick next year is big to me. And then of course the first round pick this year. So with one of the Chiefs' first round picks, they're definitely going to try to go corner. They might trade up in the draft or something to pick up like a Delane or one of those guys in this draft because I think Monster Delane's the best corner in this draft. I don't think he's going to fall to where the Chiefs have their two first round picks, but could they package both of those to go up to number 14 and pick a Delane? It's possible because Delane's awesome. And he's probably either just as good as McDuffie or better in the future on a cheap contract. Um, so that'd be a great move for them, and they'd get a third round next year. And then for the Rams, they still have the 13 overall pick, so they can still draft a stud this year. And now their secondary got a ton better. Their team is already really good. They're saying Stafford's back for one more year. We're going all in this year. Let's solidify our secondary. We have a first round pick, number 13 overall. Let's get another stud somewhere, probably defense, I would assume. And let's go all in this year because we saw our division rivals beat us in the clutch. Like it was close. It was that close. Our division rivals beat us and they just won the Super Bowl. So we're this close to being a Super Bowl winning team. So let's go all in. So I both teams won this trade. It was great. Chiefs get a lot for their future. Rams go all in right now, and we'll see where it takes them. They're probably going to be one of the favorites going into the going into the regular season to be Super Bowl favorites because they have a really good team, and if they get a really good draft pick with McDuffie, it's hard to argue that they shouldn't be a favorite to win the Super Bowl going into next year.
I was just looking at the Chiefs' updated draft picks, so they now have 9 draft picks as a result of this trade.
Hmm.
So it's a huge turnaround for them. And
Yep,
yeah, don't sleep on that 2027 third round pick.
100%. Yeah, that next year's draft is going to be crazy good. It's going to be deep at quarterback, deep at receiver. It's yeah, that draft is going to be really good.
Yeah, man, it's just really surprising. Really interested to see what's going to happen for the Chiefs. I mean, I think for the Chiefs too, it's like, they couldn't pay him. They couldn't pay McDuffie
That
with
too.
everything that
Yep.
they've put out there. So this
Hmm.
was a win-win in terms of getting him off the books and getting the draft ammo they have.
Hmm.
Um, the Chiefs have got to start hitting on draft picks. I think it's been a little bit of a struggle recently. Like I would say their
Yeah.
game's been strong lately. You know, like to me, if Rashee Rice is your high water mark, it's pretty disappointing. And I would say it's probably in the past couple
Xavier
of
Worthy
years.
looks pretty good. Xavier Worthy's looked pretty good. He's not as good as needed
Uh-huh.
for the first round pick, but he's been pretty good. He's been like a solid B plus draft grade for where they
I
got
think
him.
that's fair. I think you could say a B. Um, I yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think as far as wanted to see who some of the picks were that happened in that draft for wide receiver. Um, I mean, yeah, because when you compare, I mean, Xavier Legette, man, would he be better? I'd have to think about that one. I really like Xavier Legette.
I can straight up say no to that. I'm not really a big Leggett guy.
Well, Lad McConkey is for sure better.
It depends on your offense
Oh, he's for sure
because
better. Come on, Andrew.
it
He's
it, it, it
he's a
depends
slot
on
guy,
what
but
you're
he's
looking for.
definitely better. He's definitely a better receiver than Worthy.
Xavier Worthy, if you're looking to get someone that can change the way your offense runs, that's Xavier Worthy. If you're looking for a guy that can get you consistent first downs, That's McConkey.
What's been their issue, Andrew?
Their issue was Patrick Mahomes got
We'll
hurt.
make that a rhetorical question because we know what the answer is to that question for the Chiefs. They think about all those games where they needed a first down
Well,
and Mahomes.
and Rasheed Rice is already basically a McConkey, but maybe a slightly more athletic one.
I think you're a little higher on Rice than I am. I think McConkey's definitely better than Rice.
I disagree. Where this is one side that we're now, if you're getting off-field stuff in with that, oh, 100%. But if we're just saying the player themselves, I will go with Shea Rice over McConkey.
Interesting.
But the
Interesting.
off-field stuff definitely factors in. So if you're saying who do I want on my team right now, Rice or McConkey? Oh, that's not a question. I want McConkey because I can trust he's going to play. But if it's just like if we're playing Madden right now, give me Rasheed Rice because off-field stuff doesn't count in a video game.
You just get to ignore it, Andrew. It's not real. I
Exactly.
don't know. That's I got to think about that one. I really like Ladd McConkey, but anyway, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. So
Hmm.
it's not bad. It's not bad. They certainly wouldn't give it like it's not a Jalen Rager move.
Right.
So yeah,
Right. Yeah. But now they're gonna have to probably look at tight end because even though Kelsey might come back, unless Andy Reid has another trick up his sleeve, which he always does. So they might say, "Look, we're just gonna go three wide receivers and it'd be Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and then whoever they draft this year.
hmm.
We'll see what they do. Or watch them go draft Kenyon Sadiq. They trade up, get ahead of you guys, and they draft Sadiq.
Well, I mean they already are ahead of us. So
Well, that's true. Their actual first round pick. Yeah, it's well, we all know that if Jeremiah Love is sitting there at 9, I think they're at, they are drafting Jeremiah Love with like that card will be in before they say the Chiefs are now on the clock. If he's sitting there, which we'll see. But their second first round pick now is later than you guys. So that's what I was saying. That maybe they trade up from the Rams first round pick that they just got. Maybe they pick Sadiq with that one.
yeah,
But their 9 overall pick, they're not taking Sadiq at 9. That'd be crazy. But if Jeremiah Love is sitting there, just imagine this scenario. If they came out of the draft with Jeremiah Love and Kenyon Sadiq, both. Oh, that team would be gross again. And just the one draft, that team will be gross again.
yep, that's fair. Yep. Did we want to cover anything else in the Rams? I mean, I think that those are all. Oh, and then that I think also as a side extension, it's pretty impressive they're finding a way to keep Cam Curl and they picked up McDuffie. Um,
Yeah, and Tyler Higbee, they extended him as well. So,
that was such a cheap re-sign.
hmm yeah,
You
that
know,
was
it's
one of the guys that Minnesota was looking at if we didn't keep Hawkinson, which I think we're going to keep Hawkinson because if Higbee hit the free agency market, he'd have been cheap, but they got him on a cheap deal.
yeah,
Congratulations.
I cannot believe they got him for 2 years, 8 million. That is,
Hmm.
yeah, good for them. So, yeah,
Yeah, and now there's a lot of still rumors out there. Like there's rumors about Zaire Franklin being on the trade market. There's rumors that there's some Vikings rumors that we can touch on later once we get into our Eagles and Vikings shows. There's a lot of players that are open for business, so to speak. So we'll see if more moves happen before free agency starts. I think Wednesday. That's when it starts. But of
well,
course,
it's Monday.
legal tampering starts on Monday, even though everyone's already tampered and know where they're going, basically. They just can start talking contract on Monday.
Well, officially,
Yeah.
even that's happening too. So,
Yeah. So we'll put it this way. That's when guys like Adam Schefter and all these insiders can actually start reporting because they probably already know what's going to
that's true.
happen. So
Yep.
they can start reporting on a Monday. That way they can keep their
I
their scouts and their
I love
leaks
the news that rolls
safe.
in at 12 like 02 p.m.
Hmm. Hmm.
So dumb.
Yeah, like Kirk Cousins signs this 4-year, $180 million deal with all these different complicated
Guarantees
things in
and
there, and he signed it right when free agency started. Interesting.
it's too
Oh, good
funny.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had on those two trades. Is there anything else you want to touch on? There is that. other
Hmm.
trade that the Jets and the Titans made, but I think we already discussed that a little bit.
We did talk about that one. One other thing I did want to note is just because it does affect, well, we could talk about it if we're going to look at more of like focusing on our teams. But yeah, a couple of re-signs that happened, kind of interesting, and
Hmm.
um, we'll see what the rest of the offseason looks like. But teams are getting ready. Teams
Hmm.
are getting ready. Um, sorry, Andrew, Ooh.
Ooh,
Oh,
God bless you.
my allergies have been really bad this week.
Mm,
Um, yeah, man, I don't know what it is. Every time we get to March, it's like almost clockwork. My allergies.
it's madness.
You just had to work that in there, didn't you? So,
You know, had
the
to.
one thing I was going to say that I just saw is the Saints just restructured Alvin Kamara's deal.
I saw that too, which they were a hot, popular one for Jeremiah Love. It's still very possible, but I don't know if it's going to happen now because have Alvin Kamara. They still have their running backs they drafted last year. I can't quite remember his name. He's from Kansas, and he came in and he played pretty well last year whenever Kamara was hurt. They still have him on the team. So do they have room for Jeremiah Love? Devin Neal's his name. He came in and played well. So maybe this is kind of showing their hand like, hey, we're not drafting Jeremiah Love at 8. We're going O-line or defense or receiver. The receiver has been a popular mock for him. I don't know. We'll see. But that might be good for Chiefs because outside of the Saints, there wasn't really a whole lot of teams that was a popular option for Love in the top 10. So Love might go 9 unless someone trades up, which is very possible.
Listen, whatever needs to happen to make sure Kenyon Sadiq goes to the Eagles, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I've seen mocks that the Rams take him at 13, which I think that's high. I think that's a little crazy, but
The
I
Rams?
yeah,
I
I
don't.
was confused about that as well.
The Rams have an awesome tight end room.
Hmm.
Like
And they just
yeah.
re-signed Higby. Now, if they didn't re-sign Higby, I'd be like, oh, but no, they just re-signed Higby, so they're kind of showing their hand too. That's what free agency is all about. You
I mean,
show your hand pretty much of
Colby
what you're drafting.
Parkinson is really good. Like I'm
Hmm.
really high on that guy. In fact, I'm just gonna say this now.
Yeah, yeah, but they do like to run 2 or 3 tight ends a lot. So if they didn't
That's
re-sign
fair.
Higby,
Hmm.
then Sadiq might have been an option, but they just re-signed Higby because, everyone shows their hand before the draft in the free agency season. Like Minnesota saying that they're going to be cutting Aaron Jones, they're showing that they're probably going to be drafting a running back and or signing one in free agency and or both. Because right now they have one running back on roster, Jordan Mason, and you need at least 3. So,
Yeah. Yep. That's fair.
all right. Well, do we want to get this one wrapped up and maybe talk about our teams for a little bit?
Let's do it, man. Yeah, this was fun. Glad we got to chat about these
Yeah.
trades, and I'm glad we got to clear up that Lad McConkey is far better than Rashee Rice. So thanks for listening to me on that, Andrew.
Talent wise, disagree. Person wise, 1,000,000% agree.
Well, I can't wait to be closely watching the stats this year.
If Rasheed Rice even plays, because he might get suspended again for something. Who knows?
That just further reinforces my point. I don't know. We'll see, man.
Yeah,
But
we'll see what happens. Well, thank you guys for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next time.
we'll see everybody.